I also want to talk to you about diversity, because it kind of segues into what we're talking about. How many people believe that we have a diverse Army? Just by a show of hands. Okay, now, are you telling me that because I'm asking that question, or you feel that way? Because, you know, you have to be able to look up and see someone that looks like you. You know, in order for us to say that we have a diverse formation. So I'm going to give you a little piece of, from the Sergeant Major of the Army level, of why I think we still got a challenge with diversity. Okay, there are about 400 Sergeants Major in the Army that are considered under the term nominative, which means that they work for a general officer or a general officer equivalent. There are about 400 in the Army. Females make up about 15% of our Army population. So if we have 400 nominative Sergeant Majors and 15% of the Army is female, then we should have, what, 60. Who's the math expert? Good job. Should have about 60 nominative Sergeants Major who are females, okay? How many thinks we have 60? Good. How many think we have 30? How many think we have 20? Okay, few. How many think we have 10? All right, more. All right, we have about 12. So inside of our formation, we don't even have diversity inside of the nominative Sergeant Major population. Okay, we've got to work on that. How do you get somebody up to that level? You have to have people at the more junior levels that have opportunities to demonstrate performance and future potential, because that's how you get selected for these jobs. So we just did this board that was announced in April, which was a new way that we selected battalion and brigade level command sergeants major. Okay, first time we've done it, completely different from the way we've done it in the past. It's similar to the way that we do promotions, but not quite. We had a large group of female soldiers who were eligible for battalion level command sergeant major. Okay, eligible. And normally, about 50% of the people that choose or elect to be considered for out of the eligible pool choose to be considered. So let's say there's 100. 50% usually say, yeah, I'd like to compete. So at the battalion level, how many people think that we met that benchmark of about 50% of the eligible females chose to compete? Anybody? Was that yes, or were you just putting your arm up? You just putting your arm up? Okay. All right, how about 40%? How about 30%? Okay, some 30%. 25% of the eligible females chose to compete for battalion command sergeant major. All right, we're in the process right now of figuring out why. We have some answers, but I'm not satisfied. Because I believe, in talking with female soldiers, that they feel that there is a lack of future potential for them above the battalion level. So why even bother competing? Because if you look up, and as you continue to look up, there are less and less female soldiers that are serving in those positions, which someone can look up and say, I want to be like that. You know? There's something wrong with that. Because in order to be the Sergeant Major of the Army, you basically had to serve at a certain level and have a certain amount of time in the Army in order to compete for that position. Didn't mean you were combat arms or anything else. You just had to have a certain amount of time in the Army, and you basically had to have served at a certain general officer level. Well, if you can't get to that level, you can't compete. Does that make sense? So here's my challenge to you, NCOs. What are you doing to promote diversity in your formation? If you have a mixed gender formation, what are you doing to identify your superstars and giving them an opportunity? And just because the person that's serving there now is an African American or a Caucasian or a male or a female, what are you doing to give other people a shot? Because we can come up with a policy. We have one. But its implementation at the most junior level is where we've got to focus on. Because if we don't, we're never going to get anyone besides Althea Dixon at the 3-star Sergeant Major level to compete for Sergeant Major of the Army. And there's absolutely no reason why anyone in this room can't eventually compete for Sergeant Major of the Army if you choose to do so. None. Because there's nothing that says it has to be a tanker or an infantryman or a artilleryman. You just have to have served a certain amount of time and served at a certain level. Got to start down where you are, though. Because I can't reach down and say, Sergeant Major Schmuckatelli in the Humpty Frack Battalion now can move up to this higher level. Can't do it. So it's got to start with y'all. You got to understand that. Who's our best athletes, and what are we doing to make sure that they are having the opportunity to prove themselves in jobs so that they can then continue to move up. Okay?